power rarely collapses when it becomes weak. More often, it loses the ability to change while still believing adaptation remains possible. The Roman Republic did not fall in a moment of defeat. It reached a year when flexibility itself began to disappear, when authority discovered that every lawful response now threatened the system it was meant to protect. This essay reframes not the end of the Republic, but the moment its governing structure could no longer adjust without breaking its own legitimacy. What matters here is not catastrophe, but constraint, the quiet transformation of strength into rigidity, repeated often enough that alternatives cease to exist. In 49 BCE, the Roman Republic governed territories stretching from Hispania to Asia Minor. Authority rested formally in the Senate, magistracies elected annually, and legal traditions designed to prevent permanent concentration of power. Consuls commanded armies but surrendered authority after 1 year. Governors administered provinces under senatorial oversight. Extraordinary commands existed, yet were understood as temporary exceptions. The Republic defined itself through rotation, balance, and negotiated obedience among elites who competed while affirming shared institutional supremacy. The Senate debated legality as Roman legions remained stationed beyond Italy under proconsular command. Julius Caesar governed Gaul under extended authority granted years earlier. Pompey Magnus, once Caesar's ally, now aligned increasingly with senatorial leadership inside Rome. Laws regulating command expiration required generals to relinquish armies before entering Italian territory. Enforcement depended not on force, but consensus among ruling elites that procedure remained binding. Merchants awaiting grain shipments adjusted contracts according to senatorial decrees, whose enforcement depended on commanders hundreds of miles away. The Republic had survived crises before: invasions, rebellions, dictatorships appointed during emergency. Each survival reinforced confidence that precedent could absorb disruption. Authority interpreted endurance as proof of structural wisdom, yet survival altered expectations. Extraordinary powers granted during instability were no longer rare interruptions, but recurring instruments of governance. Commands extended, exceptions accumulated. Legality adapted through improvisation, while insisting continuity remained intact. A general awaiting recall could now negotiate terms rather than obey automatically. Authority shifted quietly from office to possession, armies loyal to commanders rather than institutions. Silence followed repeated compromises. The Senate's authority depended upon voluntary compliance among men who commanded military force. No mechanism existed to compel obedience once consensus fractured. The Republic assumed rivalry would remain bounded by shared interest in preservation. Competition strengthened prestige, but was never intended to challenge institutional survival itself. Yet expansion had transformed Roman politics into contests requiring unprecedented resources, loyalty networks, and military reputation. Provincial tax collectors recalculated obligations as administrative directives changed faster than legal clarification could arrive. Each victory abroad increased inequality within Rome. Military success enriched commanders, expanding patronage systems capable of influencing elections, courts, and legislation. Authority remained formally distributed, yet practical power accumulated unevenly. Senators increasingly relied on extraordinary alliances to counter rivals empowered by conquest. Procedure survived, equilibrium weakened. The Republic mistook procedural continuity for adaptability. When Caesar's command approached expiration, the Senate faced a decision structured by its own precedents. Allow him to retain command while seeking office, risking dominance by one individual, or enforce surrender of authority, trusting compliance from a general commanding veteran legions. Neither option preserved prior balance. Enforcement required confrontation, concession required exception. Italian municipalities prepared to receive conflicting orders issued under competing interpretations of legality. Debate narrowed into legality itself. Senators framed resistance as defense of republican tradition. Caesar framed retention of command as protection against political prosecution. Both arguments relied on institutional legitimacy. Authority divided while each side claimed preservation of the same system. The Republic possessed laws, but lacked agreement about enforcement. Another pause. Pompey received emergency authority to defend the Republic. The Senate declared protective measures once reserved for existential threats. Legality transformed into authorization for force within Roman political space. Emergency powers, once temporary shields, became instruments within elite rivalry. Authority defended itself by suspending the limits that defined it. Urban citizens adjusted daily commerce as rumors circulated about troop movements beyond the northern frontier. The Rubicon River marked the legal boundary separating provincial command from Italy itself. Crossing it under arms constituted rebellion. Yet the law assumed rebellion would arise from ambition alone, not from structural deadlock created by competing legitimacies. Caesar's decision in January 49 BCE did not invent crisis. It revealed the Republic's inability to resolve conflict through its own procedures. Authority confronted its limit. The Senate ordered resistance. Magistrates fled Rome. Pompey withdrew south to consolidate forces. Institutions continued issuing decrees even as enforcement dispersed geographically. Authority remained legally active while materially fragmented. The Republic functioned in language while dissolving in practice. Local officials waited for confirmation of allegiance before collecting taxes already overdue. Neither side declared an end to Republican government. Each insisted restoration remained possible after victory. This belief preserved legitimacy even as civil war began. Authority could not acknowledge systemic failure because its identity depended upon continuity. Conflict therefore appeared temporary, corrective, necessary, and yet options had narrowed irreversibly. The Republic's flexibility had relied upon informal negotiation among elites, willing to lose occasionally without threatening the system itself. By 49 BCE, political defeat carried existential risk. Office no longer guaranteed safety. Prosecution followed loss of influence. Commanders required victory to survive politically. Authority converted competition into necessity. A magistrate enforcing decrees in one region found them reversed weeks later under a different authority claiming identical legality. Military loyalty accelerated transformation. Soldiers followed commanders who secured land distributions and payment. Institutional abstraction yielded to personal obligation. Authority migrated toward individuals capable of immediate reward and protection. The Senate retained prestige, but lacked operational reach equal to armies in motion. Another narrowing. Civil war unfolded not because Republican offices vanished, but because they persisted without shared obedience. Elections continued intermittently. Titles remained recognizable. Laws were passed and annulled. Authority performed continuity while losing capacity to arbitrate conflict impartially. Flexibility required trust. Trust required neutrality. Neutrality had disappeared. Grain shipments halted temporarily as transport routes shifted under competing military supervision. Victory eventually favored Caesar, yet even triumph did not restore prior flexibility. Dictatorial authority expanded to stabilize governance, disrupted by prolonged conflict. Reforms centralized decision-making to prevent renewed paralysis. Each measure solved immediate dysfunction, while confirming that distributed authority could no longer operate under imperial scale. The Republic adapted by becoming something else: silence again. After Caesar's assassination in 44 BCE, conspirators claimed restoration of Republican liberty. Yet institutions failed to regain former elasticity. Successive alliances and wars followed because structural incentives remained unchanged. Authority could not revert to negotiation once survival depended upon dominance. The system remembered procedure, but had forgotten compromise. Provincial administrators awaited directives from Rome that changed with each new settlement of power. The year 49 BCE did not end the Republic. Senators still convened. Magistracies continued. Traditions persisted rhetorically. What vanished was confidence that disagreement could remain contained within institutional boundaries. Flexibility, the ability to absorb rivalry without existential threat, had crossed a threshold invisible at the time. Authority still believed recovery possible. Even as Augustus later consolidated power under imperial forms, republican language endured. Offices survived as symbols detached from autonomous authority. The republic's structures were preserved because legitimacy required familiarity. Power adapted outwardly, while flexibility remained absent beneath ceremonial continuity. And so the transformation appeared gradual rather than decisive. The Roman Republic lost flexibility, not when armies marched, but when authority could no longer imagine surrender without destruction. From that moment forward, every decision narrowed possibility. Institutions continued speaking in the language of balance, while reality demanded permanence. The system had not collapsed. It had become unable to bend. If you found meaning here, you're welcome to explore more on Timeless Questions, where we examine history not for answers, but for understanding.